If you ever feel like the world makes less sense the harder you look at it, this list is for you. These are 10 real events from around 2006 to now, each one with a trail you can actually follow. Some were caught on camera, some were tracked by instruments, some showed up on satellite data, and a few are still actively being investigated. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 took off, heading to Beijing with 239 people on board. And then, during what should have been a routine part of the flight, it went off course. Communications stopped, the route changed, and after that, the world got a mystery so big it basically swallowed the sky. Here's what makes MH370 so haunting. Investigators have radar data that suggests the plane turned back, and satellite handshakes that indicated it likely kept flying for hours after it disappeared from normal tracking. That points to a long, silent journey ending somewhere in the southern Indian Ocean. But despite an enormous search, the main wreckage has never been publicly confirmed and recovered. Some debris linked to the aircraft has washed up on the shorelines far from the flight path, which proves the plane came apart somewhere. The problem is the ocean is huge, deep, and cruelly good at hiding things. Picture astronomers spotting an object from deep space, realizing it is not from our solar system, and then watching it do something that makes them go, wait a second. In October 2017, scientists detected Oumuamua, the first confirmed interstellar object ever observed passing through our solar system. That alone is wild. A visitor from another star system just cruising through our neighborhood. But then it got weird. As it traveled away from the sun, its path showed a small extra acceleration, like something was gently pushing it. That can happen if an object is outgassing, like a comet, basically venting material that acts like tiny rocket thrust, but telescopes did not see the usual comet stuff. No clear dust cloud, no obvious tail. On top of that, Oumuamua appeared unusually elongated, and it was tumbling in a way that looked chaotic, not like a neat spinning top. Scientists proposed different explanations, including unusual outgassing that is hard to detect, or surface effects, or something stranger. And we only had a short time to study it before it was gone, back into the dark. Here's a sentence that still feels fake to say out loud. The U.S. Department of Defense released official Navy videos of strange aerial objects and openly called them unidentified. The videos most people know as Flyer 1, Gimbal, and Go Fast were recorded by Navy systems during training operations, including off the U.S. East Coast in 2014 and 2015. These clips circulated publicly for years, and then in April 2020, the Department of Defense formally released them, basically saying, yes, these are real Navy videos, and we are releasing them to reduce confusion about what is out there. That does not mean aliens. It does mean unidentified. The object in the footage was not confirmed as any specific aircraft, drone, balloon, or known system in the public explanation. So, that's like a little creepy, I guess, really, when you think about it. Could be cool, could be horrible. Okay, emergency alert. Okay, sorry about that, I'm back. Surprise. Emergency alert. There was earthquake tremors. I just ignored it. I ignored it so hard and then the ground started moving. First time that's ever happened to me. 29 years old. That was weird. That was weird. Imagine you're in your home overseas and you suddenly feel intense pressure, dizziness, and disorienting symptoms that stick around. Then you find out it happened to other people too, in other places. Starting around late 2016, US and Canadian officials reported clusters of strange health symptoms in various locations, first widely associated with Havana, Cuba, and later reported in multiple countries. The public nickname became Havana Syndrome, though governments often call them anomalous health incidents. Here is what makes this so complicated. The symptoms reported are real experiences for the people involved, and multiple investigations have looked at them. But the case is heavily disputed. Some journalists and outside investigators have suggested possible hostile action. Other official assessments have said it is very unlikely that a foreign adversary or some kind of directed energy device is responsible, at least for most cases. If you saw this with your own eyes, you would not think weather. You would think the sky is glitching. On December 9th, 2009, people across Norway and parts of Sweden saw a massive spiral of light expanding in the sky. It looked like a glowing blue beam with a swirling geometric spiral blooming out of it. And it lasted long enough for tons of people to photograph it. At first, nobody publicly owned it. Then the explanation emerged that it was linked to a failed Russian missile test. The idea is that a malfunction caused the missile to spin, and the exhaust created that surreal spiral pattern at high altitude where it could spread out and reflect sunlight in a dramatic way. In 2014, a massive crater was discovered on the Yamal Peninsula in northern Russia in the Arctic tundra. It was deep, steep-walled, and dramatic, like something punched straight down into the ground. And the immediate question was simple. How does a hole like that appear out there, far from cities with no obvious construction explanation? Early theories flew everywhere, from meteor impacts to wild speculation. But researchers increasingly connected these craters to gas buildup under permafrost, basically pressure building until the ground bursts. Think of it like a sealed container that finally pops. There have been scientific studies analyzing how these gas emission craters could form, including pressure dynamics, permafrost conditions, and methane release. The exact mechanics of each crater can vary, and new research keeps refining the model. Here's a special kind of nightmare, a sound you cannot always record clearly, but you can feel, and it is messing with your sleep. Starting around 2011, residents in Windsor, Ontario reported an intermittent low-frequency noise, the Windsor Hum. People described it as a droning vibration, sometimes strong enough to rattle things, and sometimes maddening because it would come and go with no predictable schedule. This was not just internet rumors. Investigations were conducted, and the work pointed toward an industrial source near Zug Island, a heavily industrialized area on the US side of the Detroit River. But even with that likely source area, the experience stayed mysterious for residents because the hum was intermittent and hard to point down. Weather, wind, industrial operations, and the way low-frequency sound travels can make it feel like it is everywhere and nowhere. This one is like a prank that got too perfect. In November 2020, a helicopter crew working with Utah wildlife officials spotted a metal monolith in a remote Red Rock area. They landed, walked up to it, and there it was, a tall, reflective, three-sided structure planted into the ground in the middle of nowhere. No sign, no plaque, no company name, no explanation. When officials publicly mentioned it, the internet did what the internet does. People treated it like an alien artifact, an art installation, a marketing stunt, or a weird social experiment. And then, not long after it became famous, it disappeared, reportedly removed by unknown individuals. This one starts like a classic meteor story, then takes a sharp turn into why is everyone getting ill? On September 15, 2007, a meteorite struck near a village in Peru. Witnesses described a loud explosion and a fireball, and the impact created a crater roughly 13 meters wide. So far, normal for a big meteorite fall. But after the impact, people who went near the crater reported becoming sick, with symptoms like nausea, headaches, and irritation. Reports described strange odors and even bubbling water in the crater. That sparked a wave of fear and speculation because meteorites are not usually associated with making crowds of onlookers feel ill. Scientists investigated, and one proposed explanation involved local groundwater contamination, including the possibility that vaporized water containing arsenic compounds contributed to symptoms when people inhaled it near the crater. The mystery is not that a meteorite hit, That part is confirmed. The mystery is the chain reaction of environmental factors that turned a space rock into a community health scare, and how fast the story went from cool crater to something is wrong here. If you're going to claim you saw something truly strange, an international airport is one of the worst places to do it because you would assume someone would immediately explain it. And yet, on November 7th, 2006, multiple United Airlines employees at Chicago O'Hare International Airport reported seeing a metallic, disc-shaped object hovering near Gate C-17. The reports described it as silent, close enough to be clearly seen, and then it shot upward through the cloud layer, leaving what some witnesses described as a hole in the clouds. No confirmed radar track was publicly tied to it. The FAA did not produce a public investigation that resolved it as a specific object, but the reason it remains one of the most famous modern airport sightings is the setting and the number of employee witnesses. This was not one person in the middle of nowhere. It was a cluster of workers at a major hub in broad daylight conditions, all describing something that sounded physical and close. Even if you lean skeptical at all, it is still a mystery event in the sense that an identifiable, official, widely accepted, this is exactly what it was explanation has never fully landed. All right, guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Livia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.